Now I am somewhere very special and look at all this beautiful art. And here's the curator of all that art, a very special man, Ib Jorgensen. Ib, thank you for having me today. I want to know, first of all, why did you move into the art world away from clothes design?
I've always been interested in art. I could draw and paint myself, but when I became a fashion designer, I was my own technician, so I made all my own patterns, and gradually I had a workforce that really required all my time. So I actually gave up painting or drawing, but I have always been interested in art. I collected when I could afford it, paintings, and then after 25 years in the art world, in the dressmaking world, I decided that I wanted to start a small gallery, which I did. So gradually I built up, after a couple of years, I built up a reputation of having interesting art. And so it developed from that. And then I had 2 different galleries, not at the same time, but now I'm back here in Molesworth Street, in 35 Molesworth Street, and I have a small, cozy little gallery in Georgian House.
Wonderful gallery. What's your favourite artwork here at the moment?
Would be one of Alexei Krasnovsky's, the one over the mantelpiece.
Now, I want to pick your brains because the Haute Couture Circle of Ireland is something that really interests me. Who was your favourite member, apart from yourself, during the 60s and 70s in Ireland?
My favourite?
Your favourite member of the Haute Couture Circle?
Well, I suppose that I admired Eileen Gilbert, who was, to my mind, at that time when I started, she was, of course, a good deal older, but she had an established clientele, and I admired her because she could make a garment herself. She could drape a garment herself, and so I admired her enormously. And after that came Sybil Connolly. And then after that there was a number of us, including Claude and Ellen Mulcahy, and myself.
So you were amongst a great group there. Would you say that Dublin was a more glamorous place in the 60s and 70s than it is today?
Yes, it was much more glamorous.
Why so?
But I think that people seem to have lost the feeling of actually wanting to look good. I think people now want to look comfortable, and maybe that's developed of like today with young people. I think actually it's quite interesting. Young men today, the professional young men, dress very well, except I feel they are all wearing a suit that's too tight for them. And they're wearing short jackets to show off their bums, and they're wearing these terrible brown shoes with the toes turned up. And I think that's appalling, but on the whole, it's kind of a uniform.
It is a bit of a uniform. And what about women? Yes, I do think women are trying to look more comfortable because we've got so much more to do these days, so people are on the go.
Well, women are, in a sense, much more active. They are all working, but I think also women are much more individual in their dress than men are. And I feel that some young women, or middle-aged women, or older women, can look extremely smart if they want to be smart, and if it's important then for this smart. And sometimes, if I see a really smart, well-dressed woman in the street, I'd say, you look very well, you have very good taste in clothes. And they're very surprised, but pleased.
Ib, going back to your days as a clothes designer, was there any dress or outfit you recall making that you really enjoyed making?
Well, I suppose that evening wear was particularly interesting to do, because at that time when I was young and in fashion, evening wear was worn much more so than it is today. And so evening wear was lovely, but what I really enjoyed more than anything else was making suits and coats and dresses for somebody that was size 16 upwards, because that took real talent to make people of that size look terrific. So that was really, it was very easy for me as a couturier to make collections on beautiful young models, because one had the talent. But I think where the technical aspect of one's work came in was making for larger women, perhaps women with more not perfect figures, and I got a huge amount of satisfaction from kind of making clothes for women like that. I mean, not that they were all that. I mean, most of my were very good figures. But the thing is that I just found that was an achievement.
Okay, let me just... Now, Ib, your retrospective is in the National Museum in Collins Barracks. That must be quite the honour. Were you thrilled that they curated
I was
that?
very thrilled indeed, because it is an honour to be there. And but it took a long time to get off the ground, because all museums in Ireland and institutions like that are very reduced in money. And it took a long time to get it off the ground, because I have to admit I insisted on one huge cabinet to go in there to make a proper atmosphere and look for the exhibition. So it took a little time to get that money together, but in the end they did me proud.
Now, you are a self-confessed perfectionist, so when you saw the finished product, let's say, were you pleased?
Yes, I was very pleased. And also, they actually, when I say they did me proud, and also I worked with the girl that's in charge of fashion there, Alec Ward, and I found her extremely helpful and very easy to work with. But not necessarily everybody in the museum were that easy to work with, but she was great.
Okay. Now, you are known when you were making clothes for your intricate designs and your tailoring and your perfect finish. Would you think this comes from your Danish roots?
Well, I think that it's because I'm a perfectionist. My mother was a perfectionist, and very specific about how she lived her life in terms of tidiness, and a wonderful cook, very well dressed woman. So I was inspired by her in a sense about clothes. But I think that either you're a perfectionist and you want good finish, good standards, so that's what makes your life successful as a designer, or in fact in anything you want to do.
And what about boarding school? Did that have an impact on you too in King's Hospital?
Yes, I was frozen.
Yeah.
But I came to Ireland, of course, as a schoolboy in Denmark. I played soccer. When I came to Ireland, I played rugby, and as a matter of fact, my great claim to fame is that I played against Tony O'Reilly as a schoolboy.
Well, did you win?
No.
Oh, no.
No, he was Belvedere, so they had huge amount of people.
And talking of being frozen in boarding school, you wouldn't be the first person to say that. Did it matter then when you became a designer to get some heat into your clothes?
Well, no, that really didn't,
No.
wasn't a point. But the point was that I enjoyed fabrics. In fact, I used to go to Europe twice every year to buy fabrics. And very often when I would choose my fabrics, they would suggest a design in my mind. So very often the fabric could actually tell me what to do with the fabrics. And I think that a lot of designers are inspired by fabric, by beautiful fabric.
And what about today when you look around? Is there any Irish designer you admire?
Yeah, I admire Louise Kennedy. I admire, there's also O'Brien.
Peter O'Brien, yeah.
I think he's a great designer. And of course then you have various other designers, but couture is not really in Ireland anymore because the workforce is not there to make couture clothes. But there are very good clothes made by other designers, but they're generally made to measure.
Now, are we allowed to say what age you are?
I'm 82 last January.
Now, look at you. You're looking amazing at 82, but of course keeping fit and keeping healthy and minding yourself is very important to you.
It's very important, but also it becomes naturally to me because I walk a lot, I play tennis, and I do exercise, and also I live a reasonably healthy lifestyle.
And you're not one to limit yourself by your age, let's say?
No, not at all. In fact, I mean, I'm not vain, but I don't really feel much older than, even though I'm 82, I don't feel much older than about 65.
You don't look much older than 65
Well,
either.
the thing is that, that's in my mind, but not necessarily.
Well, it clearly
in my life.
works. So are you going to be one of these people now who never retire, that retirement's not in your cycle?
I'll be carried out of here in a box.
Very good. Well, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and thank you very much for having me over for coffee and for looking at your wonderful art and talking about your days in fashion. Thank you so much, Ib.
Thank you.